Welcome to GeoDost, and in today's class we are just trying to discuss about the geological structures and their attitudes, and there are several numericals also associated with the attitude of the structures. Okay, and you have seen also in structural geology, in basically in JAM exam paper, so there are some numericals also. So we will see also in which year which type of questions are asked, and what are the tricky questions, and which trick part you just have to understand, and where most of the students मतलब फंस जाते हैं, तो वहाँ पे आपको कैसे मतलब बचना है, तो कैसे आपको जानना है कि कहाँ पे गलतियाँ हो रहा है. So we will also see, before going to the numerical part, we just have to understand what is the attitude of the planar structure and what are the linear structures and the terms associated with the attitudes. Okay, as you know, if you want to describe the attitude of a plane, planar structure means, I have told yesterday also, in case of a planar structure, so they are basically the foliations, any planar structure which is a two-dimensional structure. Okay, foliation or in any axial surface, or you can say any axial plane or any fault plane. Okay, so these things are the planar structures, and you have also encountered many planar structures in structural geology. Okay, so like this, so if you are going to identify, so the first question is that why the attitude of the planar structure is needed. So as we know, we have in order to identify, तो अगर सबकी कोई आपको आइडेंटिफाई करना चाहता है तो आपको नेम से बुलाएगा, या फिर कोई बैच के आप मतलब बिलोंग करते हो कि ये आपको स्कूल में अगर ये 2020 बैच का है या फिर 21 बैच का है. सो इन ऑर्डर टू आइडेंटिफाई दोज थिंग्स इन केस ऑफ द स्ट्रक्चर्स, सो वी जस्ट हैव टू गिव देम सम आइडेंटिटी. Okay, so that identity is known as here the attitude of the planar structure. So वो attitude कैसे करते हैं? There is a two ways. One way is that we just have to find out the strike of that planar structure and depth. Okay, and remember, strike is a direction, depth is an amount. Okay, so don't confuse in between this. So the strike and depth, otherwise we can identify them by using the deep direction and deep amount. Okay, so is it basically the same things? We are just trying to represent in a different way. How? Because if you are just trying to see a structure, now. Okay, so what happens here in this case, if this is a planar structure, okay, so in this planar structure, so what happens, so अगर मान लो कि अगर ये planar structure है, उसका नेम है ABCD. Okay, the basic things you just have to understand. ABCD. Okay, ये planar structure का इसका strike क्या है, तो मैंने कल बताया था. So the strike is the geographic direction of a horizontal line occurring on that structure plane. Okay, ये अगर आपका ABCD अगर planar structure हो गया, तो any horizontal plane का geographic direction जो होता है, so that is called as the strike. So in this case, the AB direction is the strike. Okay, so this can be this direction. So अगर ये आपका north हो गया, okay, it is like 5 degree. Just imagine. So it will be north 5 degree, or you can say north 005 is like this. You can write that 005 degree, and this one will be, can you tell me what will be like 185? Okay, so this is north, that means it is 180 degree. So then after that you just have to add another 5 degree, so it is 185 degree. So okay, in this way, don't think about these things. We will discuss elaborately about the strikes and strike line and all the things which are related to the attitude of the planar structure. Okay, just try to remember, in case of the planar structure, how to identify. You just have to find out the strike, then after that deep amount. Always remember, the strike is a horizontal angle and deep is a vertical angle. So what does it mean? So on the horizontal surface we are trying to measure the strike, and on the vertical plane we are just trying to measure the deep angle. Okay, so this part is done. I think what is strike and what is deep. Okay, and we have seen also many some examples here in the slide. Just see here. Yeah, we can see here. So if you just trying to consider the C plane, okay, so in this case, what is the strike? We can see here and here. So that means if this is north direction and this is south and this is east and this is west, obviously. So in this way, if you just, if anyone is going to ask you what is the strike of the C plane, so what it will be?
East West.
Yeah, it will be east west. Okay, and after some slides I am going to tell you there is a rule which is called right hand rule. So in this way we just have to identify which is the true strike direction. Okay, as we can see, the east and west can be the strike of the sea, but which one हम तो ऐसे कंसिडर नहीं कर सकते हैं ना, तो एक ही डायरेक्शन चाहिए. तो वो कैसे डिफाइन होता है, we will see after some slides. Okay, so in this case if you are considering about the B, so in this case we are trying to see that this is in northeast and this is southwest. So it is very easy, so try to understand carefully, you will understand, आप समझ जाएंगे आराम से, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. तो so this way, so we just understand what is the strike, and there is one is called as strike line. So what is strike line? I'm just trying to erase all links, all the links here. What is the strike line? The strike line is the line, the intersection line in between the imaginary horizontal surface and the planar structure. Okay, so if you're just trying to reconstruct this one, I'm just trying to reconstruct this one. तो ये एक planar structure हो जाएगा ना ऊपर, मतलब एक horizontal planar structure. That means if I'm going to consider this one A, B and C and D, I'm just trying to add this one. Okay, so ये imaginary planar structure, imaginary horizontal planar structure हो गया, or any plane surface you can say easily. Okay, तो ये planar surface A B C D and this A surface. Okay, तो इसका intersection line कौन सा होगा, ये. So this is a strike line. Okay, line means it is same thing, it is coming under the linear structure. Okay, so planar structure से linear structure तक आ गए. तो इसके वजह से आपको थोड़ा जानना होगा कि दिस इज द स्ट्राइक लाइन, व्हिच इज द इंटरसेक्शन लाइन इन बिटवीन द planar horizontal surface and the planar structure. Okay, so in this way we just have to identify this method where we just need the strike and deep amount. But what is how we can define about the deep direction? So deep direction क्या होता है? First we just have to understand what is deep. Deep is the inclination and the tilt amount. Okay, जैसे कि आप यहाँ पे अगर देखोगे तो in case of the A plane, I am just trying to elaborate with E plane. So यहाँ पे एक plane, so this is theta. Okay, so the most important thing is that in case of the deep, sometimes questioners always ask in the exam that deep is measured on which plane. Okay, deep always remember deep हर वक्त vertical plane में ही measure होता है, but strike horizontal angle तो horizontal surface में और measure होता है. तो ये थोड़ा easy सा part है, थोड़ा आपको ध्यान में रखना होगा. In case of the deep, it's always measured on the vertical plane. Okay, that may be your apparent deep or true deep, that doesn't matter, but always remember deep is always measured on a vertical plane. I am repeatedly saying that means it has some value. Okay, remember that. So then after that, what you have to see, in case of this, we see the strike, we see this strike line, and we saw the deep and the deep direction. Then after that we are able to discuss about the deep. Okay, so deep direction का मतलब क्या होता है? Deep direction जैसे यहाँ पे आप देख सकते हो, दिस इज द डीप डायरेक्शन. यहाँ पे मैं आपको थोड़ा ड्रॉ करके दिखा देता हूँ. तो ये पे यहाँ पे ड्रॉ हुआ है, तो ये जो डायरेक्शन है, ठीक है, तो दिस इज जो डीप डायरेक्शन. तो डीप डायरेक्शन का डेफिनेशन अगर आपको पता होना चाहिए तो क्या है, द डायरेक्शन व्हिच इज परपेंडिकुलर टू द स्ट्राइक. ओके, तो उसके वजह से हम यहाँ पे दो डीप डायरेक्शन पा सकते हैं, इस डायरेक्शन में भी, इस डायरेक्शन में भी. ठीक है, क्योंकि ये भी एक 185 से 90 डिग्री अगर करेंगे तो ऐड करेंगे तो ये हो गया 275 डिग्री एंड दिस इज जो 95 degree. So in this way there are two deep directions, but which one is the true, which one is the original deep direction, I am going to see. That will be defined on the basis of the strike. Okay, so the deep direction part is done. So in this way you see there is no differences, because from the deep direction you can easily calculate the strike, and from the strike you can easily calculate the deep direction by just adding 90 degree, by just adding by just subtracting 90 degree. So if anyone is going to tell you that if the deep direction is 100 degree, so what does it mean? The strike will be just simply, just if any, मतलब कहीं पे भी अगर डिग्री वाला कुछ भी क्वेश्चन आए, just try to draw a cross and just rename them as like as we do earlier, north south east, sorry, east west. ओके, कहीं पे भी अगर डिग्री वाला कुछ भी क्वेश्चन आए ना, तो जाम हो या फिर गेट हो कुछ भी, तो यू जस्ट हैव टू डू इन दिस वे. सो नॉर्थ साउथ ईस्ट वेस्ट, देन यू जस्ट हैव टू फिगर आउट वेयर इज द 100 डिग्री. सो दिस इज 90 डिग्री एंड दिस इज 100 डिग्री डायरेक्शन. ओके, सो दिस इज 10 डिग्री. ओके, सो इन दिस वे यू जस्ट हैव टू कैलकुलेट वेयर इज द स्ट्राइक डायरेक्शन. तो उसको स्ट्राइक डायरेक्शन कैसा आएगा, ऐसे आएगा. तो ये हो गया ऑलरेडी 10 डिग्री, सो यू जस्ट हैव टू अनदर 80 डिग्री. so that means this is, ये हो गया 80 डिग्री. Okay, this is not look like 80 degree. Okay, so this is 80 degree, ये 10 डिग्री हो गया, ये हो गया आपका 80 डिग्री. so in this way you can see this is another 10 degree. okay, 80 10, that will be 90 degree now. okay, so in this way this will be not 10 degree east, otherwise you can say 010 degree. This is, remember this one I have also discussed earlier, this is the quadrant convection, this is the azimuthal convection, or the, you can say quadrant bearing and the whole circle bearing. So in this way you can identify the strike of a planar structure. And like this, if you just trying to denote this, trying to figure out what is the geographic direction of that, of this direction, then it will be 10 and it will be 80 and this will be 10. So that means south 10 degree west, otherwise you can say this is 180 degree, south is 180 degree and yet extra 10 degree, so that means 190. So in this way you just have to identify. You can see here 0 1 degree, that means 100 minus 90 degree, that will be give you, in this case if you just trying to add another 90 degree.
तो सर, अगर एक रेक्टेंगुलर प्लानर स्ट्रक्चर है हॉरिजॉन्टल का, तो उसका स्ट्राइक डायरेक्शन कैसे होगा? इंक्लाइन नहीं होगा, वो हॉरिजॉन्टल ही होगा, तो इसका स्ट्राइक डायरेक्शन कैसे जानेंगे?
Okay, no
इसका
problem. Okay, see, first of all I told you this is the planar structure. You are saying that this is horizontal है, तो इसका मतलब ये है कि कुछ भी अगर उसको horizontal यहाँ पे है तो इसका 0 0 0 डिग्री हो जाएगा, या फिर यहाँ पे 0 9 0 डिग्री हो जाएगा, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है। और बेसिकली जब भी कहीं पे मतलब वहाँ पे अगर हॉरिजॉन्टल है, ठीक है, तो हॉरिजॉन्टल में हम मेंशन नहीं करते हैं कि ये इसका स्ट्राइक डायरेक्शन क्या है, बस इसको हॉरिजॉन्टल कर देते हैं। तो कहाँ पे ये स्ट्राइक डीप डायरेक्शन ये सब उसका कहाँ पे आता है, जब एक सरफेस इंक्लाइंड हो, ठीक है, जब यहाँ पे ऐसे कुछ सरफेस इंक्लाइंड हो। तो अगर कुछ इंक्लाइंड नहीं है तो उसको ऐसे तो बोल देंगे कि वो एक हॉरिजॉन्टल सरफेस है, उसमें स्ट्राइक और डीप का कोई जरूरत ही नहीं है उसको जानने के लिए, ठीक है। तो ये हम इसलिए डीप और स्ट्राइक का मतलब हेल्प लेते हैं, इसलिए क्योंकि उसको आपको दूसरे वाले साइंटिस्ट को समझाना है कि इसका ओरिएंटेशन ऐसा है। जैसे कि मैंने यहाँ पे बोल दिया कि इसका स्ट्राइक डायरेक्शन ये हो गया नॉर्थ, इसका साउथ, तो अगर कोई अगर आएगा तो उसको ये वाला एक है, ठीक है। इसको ऐसे कर देते हैं, हाँ ऐसे कर देते हैं। तो वो ये प्लानर स्ट्रक्चर, ये अगर मान लो कि ए प्लानर स्ट्रक्चर, दिस इज अ बी प्लान, ओके, तो ये सरफेस के ऊपर इंडिकेट करेगा, तो इसका भी तो सेम ही आएगा नॉर्थ साउथ, ठीक है। तो इसके बेसिस में हम यहाँ पे डीप डायरेक्शन और राइट हैंड थंब रूल का यूज करेंगे तो वो आएगा। तो इसलिए जहाँ पे भी स्ट्राइक और डीप और ऐसे कुछ जितने भी टर्म्स यूज किया जाता है इन ऑर्डर टू आइडेंटिफाई, इन ऑर्डर टू स्पेसिफाई द एटीट्यूड ऑफ द प्लेन्स, तो वहाँ पे वो सरफेसेस इंक्लाइंड होते हैं। अगर वो हॉरिजॉन्टल होते हैं तो उसका कोई जरूरत ही नहीं है, तो हम डायरेक्टली लिख देंगे कि हाँ दैट विल बी हॉरिजॉन्टल प्लेन और लाइक दिस, देयर विल बी नो नीड ऑफ एनी स्ट्राइक एंड डीप। Okay, as you know the deep will be zero, so deep direction cannot be defined, as you know this it is the horizontal. Okay, so in this way if still you are just trying to figure out, so if you just trying to अगर ये एक A प्लेन हो गया, ये B प्लेन हो गया, ये C प्लेन हो गया, तो ये अगर आप A प्लेन को इंडिकेट करते हैं तो ये हो गया आपका स्ट्राइक, तो सेम रूल, इट दिस इज 90 डिग्री डीप। So in this way, so you can identify, there will be no problem. Okay, so I'm just coming to the strike direction, deep direction part is over, and now I'm coming to the deep plan, deep part. Okay, so deep is basically two types. First of all, deep is apparent deep and true deep. As you know, this is known by everybody. Deep can be classified into two types, that is true deep. Tell you what happens whenever we're just trying to figure out our planar structure. So what happens, so in this case what happens, as you know this is the strike, okay, this is strike, and the perpendicular direction to the strike, that will be a true dip direction. Read this, okay, don't read this, I will say, just try to understand what is the concept, then after that you can go through the definition, there will be no problem. Okay, see here what happens, this is the strike of the planar structure. If the planar structure is the, it is white, not this barred wala jo surface hai, this is the vertical plane. I am just trying to figure out here, this is the vertical plane, okay, and this is your planar structure, this is your planar surface, you can say, no problem. In this case what happens, the deep is always measured on a vertical plane, okay, and if that vertical plane is making a right angle, okay, or perpendicular to the strike line, so that is your true dip direction, true dip amount, or the direction will be your true dip direction. Okay, is it clear? Okay, okay, if it is clear, so now we can rotate this vertical plane in many ways. So you can see ये vertical plane को यहाँ पे vertical plane को rotate नहीं करके यहाँ पे ये rotate करती है, but the same thing is happened here. This structure is inclined, then here is the vertical plane, this here the surface, okay, so the surface, here is the vertical plane, but what happened, the angle in between the strike line, here is the strike, sorry, here the strike direction, you can say this is the strike direction and this is the strike line, okay, so the angle between the strike line and the deep direction, you can say this is the deep direction, so ये deep direction के बीच में it is not 90 degree, so that means this is not a true deep, सो यहाँ पे आप ये भी दिमाग लगा सकते हो कि बस एक ही प्लेन का एक ही ट्रू टिप होता है और देयर विल बी इन्फिनिट नंबर ऑफ अपरेंट टिप्स, कहीं पे भी 1 डिग्री अगर मतलब उसको रोटेट कर दो तो दूसरा अपरेंट टिप आ जाएगा, ठीक है। बट वन थिंग रिमेंबर, द ट्रू टिप इज ऑलवेज, मतलब जितने भी डीप्स आप मेजर करेंगे, आप जितने भी अपरेंट टिप मेजर कर लो, दैट इज ऑलवेज लोअर देन द ट्रू टिप, ओके। व्हाई? बिकॉज यहाँ पे देखो, यहाँ पे 90 डिग्री, एक आपके पास अगर एक बुक है, ठीक है, तो बुक को इंक्लाइन करके देखो, तो ये जो एंगल में अगर आप कुछ भी मेजर करोगे, ये अगर ऐसे सरफेस में, तो ये कुछ होगा, तो आप यहाँ पे जितने भी मेजर करोगे ऐसे या फिर ऐसे, तो दिस इज लिटिल बिट स्मॉलर, जस्ट ट्राई टू जूम इट, ओके। सो यहाँ पे जितने भी मेजर करोगे तो इट विल बी स्मॉलर देन द ट्रू टिप नाउ, okay. Remember that is the sentence always asked in the MSQ questions, so, that apparent deep is greater than the true deep, like this. That is a tricky question, so just try to understand, okay. So I think I have covered the true deep and apparent deep part. If anybody has any doubt, you just have to pin in the group. I will just try to, I will just try my best to tell you what is the difference between the apparent and true dip, okay. But this is the basic differences, okay. So now you can see there are some field photos. You can see here what is the true dip. You just have to, this is your imaginary horizontal surface, then on the vertical plane you just have to measure this tilt or inclination of the strata, and that will give you the dip of that surface, okay. So in this way, and here you can see also there are numbers of apparent dip directions, and this red color and this blue color, light blue color, this is the vertical planes, okay. So in order to understand the dip, the true dip, you can say this is a true dip direction, this is the strike direction, and A B, this is a strike line, and the apparent dip amount अगर मान लो कि अगर आपका A हो गया, ये B हो गया, okay, तो B is always greater than A, okay. Remember this in attitude of the lines. Lines means it is a one dimension structure, okay. So in this case, what is happening in case of the attitude of the lines, there are also two different methods. The first method is we just have to calculate the Plunge, okay. These are the terminologies we will discuss elaborately. The Plunge, and another is your bearing, okay. And another way is that you just have to calculate the rake and pitch, and you should know the attitude of that planar structure over which that lineation is mentioned. That means अगर मान लो कि ये अगर एक linear structure हो गया, ये planar structure के ऊपर, ये planar structure आपका हो गया A B and C and D, यहाँ पे एक linear structure ऐसा है, तो ये अगर A B C D का attitude आपको पता है, attitude means strike deep direction और deep amount अगर पता है, तो आप अगर बस इसका rake measure कर देंगे, तो you have sufficient amount of data in order to specify that line, okay. If you have attitudes, planar structure should be known, I can say, you can write that we have known attitude of planar structure should be. Then after that, by measuring only the rake and pitch, there will be no need of any measuring of plunge or bearing, so you can easily specify that lineation. So now we have three terminologies, that is plunge, bearing and rake and pitch, and there are others also we will discuss. But first just try to understand what is rake, what is plunge and what is pitch. Time to go here, yeah, it will be a little bit easier for you, okay. तो ये एक लिनिएशन हो गया, ये वाला जो है OACD, अगर मान लो ये OACD के प्लानर स्ट्रक्चर के ऊपर OD एक लिनियर स्ट्रक्चर, तो उसका प्लॉन्ज हमको निकालना है. तो व्हाट इज द मीनिंग ऑफ प्लॉन्ज? सो प्लॉन्ज मीन्स इट्स एन एंगल that that can be measured from the horizontal surface, okay, and on a vertical plane. समझ में आ गया? नहीं समझ में आया तो प्लॉन्ज का मतलब ये होता है कि प्लॉन्ज इज बेसिकली द एंगल व्हिच इज मेजर्ड ऑन ए वर्टिकल प्लेन. तो सेम ही थिंग है, मतलब अपर एंड डिप जैसे वहाँ पे होता है तो यहाँ पे प्लॉन्ज ही ऐसे होता है. तो यहाँ पे यू कैन सी डायरेक्टली फ्रॉम द इमेज, देयर विल बी नो प्रॉब्लम. It is the angle that makes, and you can also see the definition. It is very easy. Angle that line makes with respect to a horizontal plane as measured in a vertical plane. So you just have to understand which angle, and there will be no need of any definition like this. अगर आपको समझ में आ गया कि what is plunge, तो no problem. Then after that, what is the bearing? जैसे यहाँ पे planar structure के ऊपर है, अगर हम उसको प्रोजेक्ट कर देंगे horizontal surface के ऊपर, तो ये जो azimuthal angle आपको जो देगा, तो that will be your bearing. That means if this is your north, okay, and this angle will be just like अगर ये planar ये horizontal projected horizontal line और the strike line के बीच में अगर 25 डिग्री है, so this will be your 025 degree. So basically bearing is synonymous to this strike of a planar structure. So like this, मतलब ये exact definition नहीं है, तो still just try to figure out. So if there is any linear structure on any planar surface, and if you are just trying to project that linear structure into a horizontal surface, and the azimuthal geographic direction that will be give you the bearing of that linear structure. And you can say also sometimes it is also called as trend. But remember the bearing and trend is basically the same thing. And the plunge you see, and one thing that is the rake and pitch. So what is the rake and pitch? So in order to understand what is the rake and pitch, you just have to move to this part. Okay, तो rake and pitch का क्या मतलब होता है? Remember, this is basically the acute angle of a lineation with the strike line on a plane containing both of them. ओके रिमेंबर दिस इज द एग्जैक्ट डेफिनेशन. तो यहाँ पे आप अगर इसको देखोगे तो यहाँ पे एक थीटा है, तो यहाँ पे भी एक थीटा है, तो ये अगर 180 हो गया तो दैट दिस विल बी 180 माइनस थीटा. ओके, बट व्हिच वन इज द एक्यूट एंगल? अगर मैं इसको मेंशन कर दूं कि इसका ओ हो गया तो बी ये ई हो गया, तो बी ई ओ देयर विल बी टू एंगल बी ई ओ. समटाइम्स इट इज कंफ्यूजिंग, दैट्स व्हाई आई एम टेकिंग सम टाइम्स हियर. सो इन दिस केस व्हाट इज हैपनिंग, ए ई ओ, there are two angles, this is theta, this is 180 degree minus theta. So what happens, which one is the acute angle? Obviously BEO. So remember, always rake and pitch, these are the same things. The rake is always an acute angle which is measured in between the strike line. So what is the strike line here? AB. It is measured in between the strike line and the lineation on that plane which is containing both of them. So which plane is containing both of them? ABCD. ABCD is containing both the lineation, that is EO, and the strike line, that is AB. Remember the exact definition. The I am still repeating what is the rake and what is rake and what is pitch. The rake is an acute angle in between the lineation and the strike line on the surface which is containing both of them. Okay, is it okay? Or anybody has any problem? Just remember that some basic concepts I am revising the things. The strike is always a direction, okay, and deep is a amount of inclination or the tiltness of a planar structure which is measured on a vertical plane, and the plunge is the angle in between the line and the horizontal surface which is measured on a vertical plane also. The same thing, just like the deep, there is a the amount of plunge is also same, but the thing is different. Where there is the planar structure, but here it is the linear structure. Okay, but in case of the pitch, it is the acute angle in between the lineation and the strike line which is measured on a vertical, which is measured on a planar structure which contains both of them, both the lineation and the strike line. Okay, and yeah, I think I have covered all the attitude parts with linear structure and planar structure. So you just have to move one concept, yeah, this part. So what happens, the strike will be north south and deep direction will be, can you tell me what is the deep direction? And for plane, what? Okay, the problem is
प्लेन ए का ईस्ट हो डिप डायरेक्शन.
ओके हियर इन केस ऑफ द प्लेन है तो इसका ईस्ट होगा. ठीक है, तो ये कैसे मेजर करते हैं? तो देयर इज ए रूल व्हिच इज कॉल्ड राइट हैंड रूल, राइट हैंड थंब रूल. तो वहाँ पे क्या करते हैं, तो ये जो एंगल है स्ट्राइक डायरेक्शन, तो वहाँ पे हमका थंब का, राइट हैंड का, नॉट लेफ्ट हैंड. सो ऑलवेज व्हेनेवर देयर इज ए प्रॉब्लम, सो यू जस्ट हैव टू यूज योर राइट हैंड and the thumb direction should be parallel to your strike direction. Okay, and the other fingers which is pointing towards any मतलब जो भी डायरेक्शन की तरफ वो पॉइंट कर रहे होंगे, तो दैट विल बी योर ट्रू डिप डायरेक्शन. तो ऐसे कि यहाँ पे आप देख सकते हो, यहाँ पे अगर आपका राइट हैंड यहाँ पे रखोगे तो ऐसे सिंपली आप स्क्रीन के ऊपर भी रख सकते हो आपके हैंड, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. बस आपका जो थंब का जो डायरेक्शन है तो दैट शुड बी पैरेलल टू योर स्ट्राइक डायरेक्शन. ओके, तो उसको क्या करते हैं, तो यहाँ पे अगर करोगे तो दैट विल बी गिव यू दिस डिप डायरेक्शन, दैट विल बी योर ईस्ट. ओके, दिस विल बी योर वेस्ट. सो यहाँ पे मैंने क्या बताया, तो देन आपको क्या पता चल जाएगा यहाँ पे, तो यहाँ पे आपको स्ट्राइक. ठीक है, तो यहाँ पे हमको पता है कि इनके सब की प्लेन है तो डी डायरेक्शन आपको कौन सी डायरेक्शन में है, ईस्ट में है ऑब्वियसली ना. तो बस आपको यहाँ पे क्या मेजर करना है, आपको स्ट्राइक जानना है, जो कि हमने पहले बताया था कि इसका स्ट्राइक क्या होगा, नॉर्थ साउथ होगा. लेकिन व्हिच वन इज द ट्रू? सो यहाँ पे क्या करना होगा, तो यू जस्ट हैव टू use your right hand and the pointing direction should be towards the east. Then after that the right hand the thumb direction will show you that the strike will be north. Okay, so in this case also if you have strike direction, you can definitely calculate the deep direction, and if you have deep direction, you can definitely calculate the strike direction. There will be no problem. You can interchangeably use these notations, but don't interchange your right hand and left hand. Okay, always use your right hand, and the thumb should be parallel to your strike direction, and the other fingers should point towards the deep direction. And if you have deep direction, use your thumbs to use your fingers pointing toward this direction, and your thumb give you the strike direction. And the opposite thing is happening, so you just have to, if you have strike but you don't have any deep direction, you just have to use your thumb towards the by aligning parallelly towards the strike direction. Then after that it will give you the true deep direction. Okay, I think it is clear. But the same thing is happening in case of the B also. As you can see, just try to use your finger rule on your screen, where you can see मतलब ये जो आपका जो जितने भी फिंगर्स होगा एक्सेप्ट योर थंब, तो उसको डीप डायरेक्शन को अगर आप वेस्ट की तरफ रखोगे तो द स्ट्राइक डायरेक्शन विल बी योर साउथ. यहाँ पे अगर आप रखोगे, यहाँ पे ये प्लानर सरफेस के हिसाब से अगर आप ये पाम को पैरेलल करके वो सरफेस के ऊपर रखोगे तो व्हाट विल हैपन, द स्ट्राइक जो डीप डायरेक्शन आपकी वेस्ट की तरफ जाएगा, जितने भी थंब्स होगा ये वाला पार्ट आपका वेस्ट हो जाएगा. वेस्ट हो जाएगा मतलब खराब नहीं हो जाएगा, मतलब वेस्ट डायरेक्शन हो जाएगा. ओके, so this will be your west direction and this will be give you the south. Okay, so in this way you can be more exact to specify a planar structure. Okay, I think it is clear. So if it is clear,
Why not use north-south direction instead of only north?
okay, see what happens when this is a nice question. Okay, why we are not using the north south direction instead of one direction. Okay, तो यहाँ पे क्या होता है कि एक डायरेक्शन यूज करने से क्या होता है कि मोर स्पेसिफिक होता है. तो मैंने आपको यहाँ पे बताऊंगा, जैसे कि मैंने बताया कि देयर आर टू वेज इन ऑर्डर टू आइडेंटिफाई एटीट्यूड ऑफ ए प्लानर स्ट्रक्चर, स्ट्राइक एंड डीप डायरेक्शन. ठीक है, डीप स्ट्राइक एंड डीप, तो मैं इसको मेजर करता हूँ. तो बेसिकली जितने भी क्वेश्चंस आएंगे तो वहाँ पे इसी फॉर्मेट से सब कुछ लिखा होगा. तो मैंने यहाँ पे आपको बताऊंगा कि आपका स्ट्राइक है नॉर्थ साउथ एंड डीप अमाउंट है 30 डिग्री. आप कौन सा वाला एंगल करेंगे, इसका भी 30 डिग्री अमाउंट है, ठीक है, इसका भी 30 डिग्री अमाउंट है. तब कौन सा वाला अगर आप बताएंगे कि मतलब आई हैव, मैंने फील्ड में एक प्लानर स्ट्रक्चर देखा था तो वहाँ पे 30 डिग्री डीप था एंड स्ट्राइक था नॉर्थ एंड साउथ. तो which one is your which plane you are just trying to mention, A plane या B plane? Okay, so that's why there is a problem that यहाँ पे इसी डायरेक्शन में डीप डायरेक्शन होगा या इसी डायरेक्शन में डीप डायरेक्शन होगा. नॉर्थ की तरफ से यहाँ पे भी 90 डिग्री हो सकता है, यहाँ पे भी 90 डिग्री, साउथ से यहाँ भी 90 डिग्री, सब कुछ 90 डिग्री है. तो कैसे मेजर होगा? तो इसलिए तो in order to be more specific, in order to identify a planar structure on the field, because everything is going to be field, तो जो कुछ भी हम यहाँ पे पढ़ेंगे तो आप जाके प्रैक्टिकली जब जियोलॉजिस्ट बनोगे तो वहाँ पे सब कुछ फील्ड में जाके अप्लाई करोगे. ठीक है, तो इसलिए तो क्या होता है, तो ये ए प्लेन को इंडिकेट करने के लिए यू जस्ट नीड ए डीप डायरेक्शन एंड दैट फ्रॉम दैट डीप डायरेक्शन यू कैन इजीली आइडेंटिफाई द स्ट्राइक डायरेक्शन. यहाँ पे अगर मैं लिख दूंगा कि मेरा स्ट्राइक डायरेक्शन नॉर्थ है एंड अमाउंट इज 30 डिग्री, तो आप सिंपली ऐसे नॉर्थ डायरेक्शन ऐसे प्लानर स्ट्रक्चर कर सकते हैं. ये मेरा नॉर्थ है, ठीक है, द अमाउंट इज 30 डिग्री. then after that you can perform any problem, you just have to any stereographic net, you can easily define, there will be no problem. ठीक है, तो जैसे कि मैंने अभी बताया, तो दिस इज ए नाइस क्वेश्चन एंड द आंसर टू दिस क्वेश्चन इज दैट as we know the true deep direction is always perpendicular to the strike direction. So if you have two strike direction, okay, so if you have two strike direction then there will be two deep direction, which is impossible. As we know the planar structure always have only one true deep direction, so that's why we just have to be more specific about a strike direction, but that can be calculated, that can be measured by using the right hand rule. Is it okay? It is given here, the strike of a bed dipping 30 degree, that means deep is 30 degree and the deep in towards north 45 degree west, that means the deep direction is north 45 degree west. So now we interpreted this question correctly. So this is your north. मैं उसको स्ट्राइक डायरेक्शन डीप डायरेक्शन को समझाने के चक्कर में तो वहाँ पे गलत चल गया. Okay, and I'm sorry for that. And this is north south and this is east and this is west, and the deep direction we have that is north 45 degree west. Here is the deep direction, that is north 45 degree west, So now we just have to figure out the strike. That means this is in north 25 north 45 degree east, and you can say south 45 degree west. But here we have written, we have हमने यहाँ पे quadrant convection में लिख दिया, but the all the options are in the azimuthal convection. तो यहाँ पे क्या होगा? Can you tell me? 045, and here it is 0, and here it is 90, here it is 180, here it is
225.
045 and 2. The question is the answer is obviously clear for everybody, I think. And just move to the second question. The strike of an inclined bed is north 45 degree east, north 15 degree east.
Option B.
The deep direction can be, so that means we have north 15 degree east, north 15 degree east. The deep direction can be. So यहाँ पे आपको मैंने क्या बोला था, यहाँ पे आपको थंब रखना है यहाँ पे, तो deep direction will be towards this direction. Okay, तो क्या होगा? ये हो गया आपका 15, this is your, ये हो गया 15 डिग्री, ये हो गया 75 डिग्री. That means this is your north, this is east, and it is 90 degree, and this is another 15 डिग्री. ठीक है, क्योंकि डीप डायरेक्शन से तो ये स्ट्राइक हो गया नॉर्थ 15 डिग्री ईस्ट ना. ओके, तो डीप डायरेक्शन से 90 डिग्री होगा, तो ये हो गया आपका 75. दैट मीन्स इट इज 15 डिग्री. सो दिस विल बी साउथ 75 ईस्ट. ओके, सो नाउ ओके, yeah, this is a very difficult question for the third one. I'm not going to tell you, you just have to figure out. This is the JAM 2014 question. If anybody has any problems, just tell me, because I have already taken 40-45 minutes. I'm not going to tell you what is the answer will be this. This is a tax for you. Then after that, if anybody has any problems, we will discuss tomorrow. Okay, see, just try to do it, and these are also, take the screenshots. Okay, we are going to discuss tomorrow.